Hey, folks, there's is an old saying that to be the man, you have to beat the man. And it never rang more true than in the case of Roy Jones Jr. Gifted with blistering speed in both hands and feet, of course, power in both hands and a boxing IQ that was out of this world. When he was great, he was the best. Now, today, I will be talking about yet another absolute great that faced off against Roy Jones Jr. and was unsuccessful in his contest, yet super successful throughout his career. This former WBA light heavyweight champion defended his strap, a remarkable 21 times, and won it twice. This class of '84 Los Angeles Olympic Summer Games silver medalist from the U.S. amassed an incredible 288 wins to 11 losses as an amateur. Yeah. My name is Bola Ray, and this is the scoop. Born January 18, 1964 in Clinton, Missouri, was none other than Virgil Eugene Hill. Now, what an absolute specimen he was. At a young age, his family moved to Williston, North Dakota, and it was there that he started his amateur boxing campaign. Now, what a career he had. Also ended up with a silver medal in the '84 Olympic Games, and, like I said, a record of 280 wins and 11 losses. Wow, after that, I'm not too sure exactly what else to do, but turn pro, and that's exactly what he did. So, fighting out of North Dakota, Virgil traveled to Madison Square Gardens in New York City, and on November 15th, 1984, Virgil entered the squared circle to face off against an Arthur Wright in his professional debut. Now, Hill made short work of him and stopped him in the second round with a TKO. But a legend was born. Hill started out his career on an absolute tear, racking up an impressive record of 18 fights, 18 wins, with 12 of them being stoppages. His next contest was against a newly crowned World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion in Leslie Stewart of Trinidad and Tobago. This contest was in Atlantic City. Now, after an uneven match in the early going, Hill floored the defending title holder twice in the fourth round. First with a left hook, and then second time with an uppercut, to take the title by knockout victory. So, as a champion, Hill did two things that were noteworthy. One, Hill made 10 successful defenses of the WBA title, but more admirably, 8 of those 10 defenses were done in Bismarck, North Dakota. I don't think that that state had showcased any world title fights prior or since Virgil Hill. When asked why, he was offered the opportunity to take more lucrative fights in Las Vegas and other places. He simply said he wanted to defend his title where his roots were and his fan base was strongest. During his run as a champion, he made successful defenses against Bobby Chaz and James Kitchens. Now, then he ran into the super legend, my man, Tommy the Hitman Hearns, at light heavyweight. June 3rd, 1991, Hill steps into this office to dance with the man, which proved to be unsuccessful, with it going the way of a unanimous decision for the man. This was the end of his first reign as a light heavyweight champion of the world, and ironically, it happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. Who knows what would have happened if it had taken place in Bismarck? This fight was a very close contest. Like I said, who knows? Hill didn't take much time off after the loss and was back in the ring doing what he does almost 9 months later, almost to the day, actually. June 1st, 1992, against the game Audrey Nelson. Now, after another win with Hill, he is set to face off against his former teammate from the '84 Olympic Games, who actually won the gold medal in those games at light middleweight. None other than Frank Tate. That Frank Tate. Yeah. And it was going to be for the newly vacated by Tommy WBA light heavyweight strap again. So Hill went on to win this contest with a one-sided boxing lesson. It was deemed a unanimous decision, and he was back, baby. Hill goes on to have another 10-fight win streak on his defense, with this time around only 2 coming the way of a stoppage. But he was still amazing, outpointing and outboxing 8 other fighters. Now, he had more notable wins against Saul Montana, which is one of the 2 guys he knocked out. He had a rematch against his old foe and teammate, Frank Tate, where he put on an even more impressive boxing lesson and won again by unanimous decision. But this time, they barely even gave Frank a round. And then he has a win over Drake Thadze. That Drake Thadze that handed the great James Toney a decision loss. And none more noteworthy than Henry Maskey, the pride of former Germany, former East Germany, that is. Excuse me. Excuse me. Former East Germany, the Olympic gold medalist, who actually won it over my friend and a friend of the Scoop, Egerton Marcus, in the '88 Seoul Summer Olympic Games. This fight was a unification bout between Hill's WBA strap and Maskey's IBF strap. And then they tossed in, for good measure, the lineal title. So Hill walked away with a 12-round split decision. Now, Hill's very next fight, June 13th, 1997, was against Dariusz Michalczewski for all the marbles. And now, this time, it was Hill that was leaving the ring unhappy and 3 belts lighter due to a 12-round unanimous decision. Post this fight, Phil didn't return to the ring for almost a year. But when he did, he was facing the man, Roy Jones Jr. Now, this is when things get super interesting. Okay. It is reported that early in 1998, Jones actually relinquished his WBC light heavyweight strap because he wanted to fight at heavyweight. He actually signed to fight Buster Douglas. That Buster Douglas that knocked out Mike Tyson 7 years prior in '98. Actually, for May 2nd, 1998. On March 21st, 1998, the WBC's number one contender, Michael Nunn, fought number two contender, Graciano Rocchigiani, for the vacant light heavyweight title, the title that Roy had vacated to move up. Now, meanwhile, Roy changed his mind. Because Roy can do these things. Roy changes his mind and moves and doesn't move up to heavyweight and backs out of the fight with Buster Douglas and signs to fight Virgil Hill. Well, now, on a side note, June 1998, the WBC stated that Jones was referenced in a promotional and contract to the Rocchigiani, thank you, Nunn fight as a championship bout. And Rocchigiani was the champion, had been a typographical error. Yeah. The WBC loved Roy too. They made him, Rocchigiani, they made him the interim champion and gave the title back to Roy. And I said, interesting. They got sued and lost a lot of money. Yeah, that's just, again, an aside. April 25th, 1998, the fight was on. Roy was absolutely spectacular in this contest where he completely dominated Hill with footwork until, well, Hill had nothing left. Jones knocked out Hill with a right hand to the body. Bang! It was his first knockout loss in Hill's illustrious career. Jones landed 34 of 69 power punches, which was a 49% ratio, to Hill landing 11 of 30 power punches, which is 37%. Now, folks, understand something. Roy landed more punches than Hill threw. Yeah, let that sink in. Post this fight, Hill left the light heavyweight division for good and went on to the cruiserweight, where he saw some success and won the WBA title strap twice, only to lose it the next time out. First time he lost it to Jean-Marc Mormac, and which was the second time he was stopped in his career. This time with a 9th round where he just refused to come out off his stool. And then the second time he lost to, I wouldn't call him a friend, but we know each other, Furta Arslan. Yeah, that was painful. Yeah. And in between those two fights, he had a rematch against his old foe, Maskey, and lost a unanimous decision. Post the Arslan Hill fight, Hill took a 8-year hiatus and came back for one more dance against one Jimmy Campbell, February 15th, 2015, of which he won by a second round stoppage, but the fire was gone and it was his last dance. Now, Hill finished his career off with an impressive record of 51 wins to 7 losses. In 2013, he was actually inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Well deserved, to say the least. Few can argue that Hill wasn't an absolute legend, yet Roy, he was great. Not only gave him a loss, but also by way of stoppage. Roy really was a step above, and this is just another example as to why he was that dominant. And folks, that's my show. So if you like this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget the notification bell. It's your boy Bola. And that's the scoop.